cheers to y'all, okay?
Thank you.
I talked to the Reverend today, earlier today, this afternoon, and prior to knowing that I was going to even speak to you guys or her, I had reposted the visuals from what I had seen of the two of you looking so amazing and beautiful and just watching a moment in history. Obviously, we're all seeing something that's changing lives again, something that hits home for a lot of us. And the two of you standing so beautiful and tall and showing so much love in those videos, in those photos, I had to repost it. This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I've never seen a wedding like this before. I'll get to everything that's happening to you guys in a moment, but let's talk about the love story leading up to this. First of all, again, congratulations to you guys. I went on your page. I did my homework. I was digging a little bit. It took some time to get to this point, and it was a beautiful love story to watch. Can you give us a little bit of background on how long it took? How did it start out? How did you propose? Look, he's like, how?
I'll take the first one because it's always I always like jeer her a little bit because when we first met, we're both gym rats, so we met in the gym several years ago. So once we both had a mutual circle of friends, but we never actually met or knew each other. So eventually we kind of came to know each other. And once the introduction was made, I was like, wow, she is truly an amazing person. I would love to get to know her better. I'm not going to say like, oh my gosh, day one, she's going to marry me. But day one, I knew that, hey, I really want to get to know this lady right here better. Her energy, her aura, everything about her was just like, you know what, this is a truly unique individual that I would love to have in my life. So that process went on and on and on. We just stayed friends. Like I said, I would love to have gone out with her at that point, but she did not.
Not yet.
Well, she was focused. She was focused on her career, her studies, getting herself, where she needed to be in life. So she was focused and working. So it's not as if she was just kind of like kicking the can down the road or
right.
Just being difficult per se. But she was being focused, and she was like, and I understand that she was grinding, doing what she needed to do. So all I could do was be respectful of the process and say, hey, she needs her space, so we'll make sure that she has her space. Time went by, we just kept loosely in contact. She went away, she left, and went to New York to continue with her studies, so we were away. So I'm outside of Philadelphia, she's in New York.
Gotcha.
There's a couple hours of distance there. There's several months of time. But the process kept going. I kept on reaching out to her. So eventually, we started talking more.
Little by little.
Yeah.
Little inch by inch.
It was a long game. Had to play a long game. And there was a small window of time in there where we had an opportunity,
we pretty much just decided at that point that we kind of tried this out a little bit, okay? Because as far as like the first couple of years, it was kind of slow. And so I was just like, well, I'll give this gentleman a chance. He seems very nice, so maybe we can try to do this. And so that's essentially the broader sense of what has happened and how we've journeyed together, and we kind of took off from there.
Knowing how long it took to get to this point, I feel like maybe you guys appreciate that even more now, that it wasn't so quick, it wasn't so fast. You got to learn each other, you got to know each other, and now you have a friendship as well as love and a forever.
Exactly.
That is, you guys well quoted, so that's correct. you definitely want to see what will withstand time. And so while we spent 5 quality years together, the years even before that still played a part. And so it's not about timing all the time, but I think it definitely helped for us to really slowly grow. Like, we didn't just jump in, we took our time, and something really nice blossomed out of that.
Kerry-Anne, being on the front lines with people, especially we're in a pandemic right now, beyond everything else that is happening in our world, how hard has that been too for you guys to kind of even find time together prior to this? Because you're trying to plan the wedding, you wanted to have it, then COVID happened, and now there's this, but you made such a beautiful moment of that. How difficult was it to figure out we should do this now?
It was extremely difficult. It was very hard for me, I think, more so than Mike, because a lot of time and energy was put into the celebration that we were looking forward to. And so being in the medical profession, I feel as though I was privy really to what was really happening. If someone didn't watch the news, they probably didn't realize how many new infections we had or how many new deaths we had today from state to state. So being in the medical profession, I'm seeing this, I'm experiencing this. And so I'm following this and understanding what pandemics have been like in the past. Will pretty much give us a good idea of how this pandemic is going to run its course. And so we kind of incorporated all of that information, what I'm seeing and feeling every day, and how I'm feeling when I'm dealing with a COVID patient, when I'm operating on a COVID patient, and using that information to really help us. But emotionally, I'm a human being, and I'm looking forward to this wedded bliss. So I really, really wanted it. And even on the day, I was just like, I really, 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 really want this. But it's not the smartest thing to do. So we collectively decided on just really putting everything on the table and saying, hey, when will it be the safest time for us to really engage in that intimate role with everyone on our wedding list, everyone in our families and our friends. And so safety is the utmost. And we know that distancing right now is what is necessary. And even though we've been moving into different phases in different states, it's still extremely important for us to keep that social distancing so we can actually make this pandemic come to an end. Okay, we don't want to prolong it. We don't want to slow it down. We want it to come to an end. And so with all of that, we decided that it's really best for this great, large celebration to be pushed off. And we're willing to move this to 2022 if we have to, as long as our families will be safe and we can really have fun together.
Definitely want to talk about, again, the images and the beauty and the love that you brought together during that peaceful protest, and the history that's being made. You both are a part of history to show this is what love is, and it speaks so volumes and shows so many layers of the human being, that during things like this you can still find that love and that silver lining and that beauty while stuff is changing, although there's negativity obviously involved with it, and there's a lot of awfulness that's coming with it. When you decided to do that, did you call family? Did you call friends? Did you guys pray together? Did you say we're gonna do, like, what was happening where you said, you know what, let's do this, let's make this happen in front of everyone?
Well, the in front of everyone was not the plan. This was supposed to be a private sharing of our vows, because we did not want to move our new lives together back a few years, so regardless of the pandemic and everything, we just didn't want to just ride with the pandemic. We wanted to still get started. We wanted our lives together to continue and not be delayed. We just didn't want to do this in a way that was just signing papers somewhere. We wanted to actually commemorate this.
Not trying to have, and don't get me wrong, neither was I. She was not trying to have a rundown, but granted, you know, when the pandemic kind of got into full swing, it was really kind of a, okay, and exactly how do we? I don't quite, in a virtual, you know, we can't have large numbers of people together, but virtual, like, yeah, I don't quite want that either.
Take away from that feeling that we wanted to still share. So even if it were just 5 or 6 people, we'd much rather do that in person versus, you know, just virtually getting married. It's like, okay. Not only that, we may never make it to next year. So in my mind, it's like, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how the pandemic is going to go. We don't know if we're going to be living and alive next year. So I'm always the person to be in the moment. And so let's enjoy our time now. Let's do us now. And so we wanted to make it as special as we could have safely done. And so that we can have some pictures and memories until our wedding next year or so.
Memories galore.
Well, we all have the memories now, so we're all part of the wedding. So thank you for having me and everybody else part of it. Knowing that you weren't expecting that, and that's not what your intentions were, but the images now are being shared everywhere in such a positive way. How much does that mean to the two of you? And also, the Reverend said, Kerry-Anne, you still are having another wedding.
Oh, our wedding is scheduled for next year. We haven't changed anything. Again, our families did not know of this until everything went viral. So this was supposed to be just us with still keeping the anticipation for our wedding next year. And so we actually didn't even announce the new date as yet, even though we have all our vendors confirmed and everything. That was supposed to happen in the next couple of days. So we are still having everything. We're still having our ceremony as we wanted, or reception as we wanted, and so we'll just relive everything in what was supposed to be the original way, but in a new way.
We got the love. We got way more love, and energy and positivity and just support than ever could have been imagined. Like when I walked up to Kerry in that moment, I was solely focused on her. It was literally thousands of people standing there just chanting and signs waving and clapping and phones and videos. It went by in a blur, but I just remember just focusing on Kerry, like seeing tears come down her face, and then turning around, we had the moments and the crowd was there and just like feeling all of that. I don't know how we're regular people. We get up, we go to work every day just like everybody else. And I can't see or visualize how we could ever just step back into another moment. Like that was truly, I think, like a once in a lifetime experience to like feel that love, just amongst everything that was going on, the positivity of the day, the positivity of the event, the positivity of the movement, and how, unbeknownst to us, in a split second, we somehow just became emblematic of what was going on around the world on that day, and just put that Black love back into the framework of, this is the perception, this is the narrative of what this is about, because that really should be what's talked about, is the Black love, the camaraderie, like human love, really.
Yeah.
If people would just try to, if it's just, you're saying just Black, then you're saying, not others. Like it's everything. Like if you saw the composition of the demographics of the people that were down there, this was a broad-based coalition of people. This was not just, the entire Ben Franklin Parkway filled with African Americans or other minorities. This was, they were maybe even in the minority. It was a very diverse group of people, and it was just so just breathtaking to see that. It was just a wonderful, amazing experience, and to just get that love from everyone in that moment. When, we have a wedding, obviously, we started this process before we had any idea that this protest was going to happen. Yes, we had no idea.
We actually found out about the protest 3 days prior by accident through the venue. And so where others were shying away from still proceeding with their nuptials, we were like, we are getting married.
Let's go.
Rain or shine, whatever it is, we are getting married on that day. And there was no fear in my mind of how the protest would affect us. So we had no issues with that. We didn't care where the protest was moving to. We wanted to move on and to start us. But on top of that, we wanted to be a part of the protest outside of our wedding. So if we were not getting married at that moment, we would have been, as all the protesters were out there marching just the same. And so if anything, I was thinking in my mind, like, oh, we can't be there. But my spirit was with the group and the movement. And so when we actually saw that we are seeing the protest, it made me feel so good, because then I felt like, okay, I'm still here to marry my now husband.
Yeah.
But we're actually here so we can see it and feel it. So it's almost like the best of both worlds. And then it just developed into something even more amazing. So I really feel like all the energies and everything just combined in that one space, that one time. And it was absolutely epic.
There's a moment where they do a swing of the video of the two of you standing there. You're holding hands. And Kerry-Anne, you look at Michael, and you can just, I don't even need to hear anything come out of your mouth. It was so powerful the way you looked at him, and it was so beautiful. In your mind at that very moment, what was going through your head?
My Black man is all I can think of. This movement right now, Black Lives Matter, and look at what is, to me, the most perfect example of that. And regardless of everything that has been done, and sometimes there are moments of being like fearful, but outside of that, I believe in him and I believe in his image, and I respect everything about him. And so when I see that, I'm expressing what I'm seeing is what I'm feeling, essentially, with everything, with the movement, and at that moment. And it's the first time we're seeing each other as like our first look. So, I'm seeing him all dressed up in his chuck, and I mean, he looked magnificent. So he's walking towards me, and it's just like, this is my man, and I couldn't be more proud of this man at this moment. And for me to see how he contradicts all images of what a Black man should be and is. And it included that in my vows that I wrote 5 months ago. And so when I read my vows yesterday, and I really looked at him, like, he contradicts all negative portrayals of Black men. And I just felt proud. I felt proud of him. And the love that we shared, it was just all poured in. The love of the movement and the things that are happening in the world, it was just all in my heart, and it was just overwhelming. I couldn't really put it all together. It was just so much at one time.
The beauty that you brought to that street and to the world, what will you take from this, knowing that you went viral and everyone's seen it?
I think I take like the love, the energy, the feeling, the positivity, the movement, knowing that the atmosphere that this was all taking place in, we all understand the backdrop of all of this, and just the positivity and that split moment, and how that just somehow seemed to just galvanize folks or embody what took place over a period of time in a broad-based coalition movement that we were seeing. I was up in a hotel room, we could see the people walking down the parkway, and it's like, wow, there's a lot of different people walking down there. This is truly something special, never knowing that somehow we would have found ourselves, I'm not going to say we were at the center of it or somehow the main attraction of it. By no means were we that, We're two regular people, just like all the other thousands of folks that were out there. But just that love, that energy that you just felt coming at us when we were just standing there. I mean, it went by so quick for me. I would love to see, some more videos of what it actually looked like, not just snips, because that we didn't really get to take it in because it was just like that for us. So, I mean, I remember seeing the faces and, people clapping and, just like feeling love and just like being overwhelmed by it and just the wonderful, 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 vibe that put into us, and that being our first time seeing each other on our wedding day. And I mean, irreplaceable. Like, saying black love matters, love for everyone.
Yes.
I would say that, we're all about love, but love comes in different forms. So you can have this kind of love for your significant other, but there's love of humanity, there's love of people, there's love of your fellow brothers and sisters and your neighbors. And so love is on all different magnitudes. And so we just don't want to focus on just us. We want to every Black person supporting Black people, every person supporting every other person, so it's love on every level. So this is just one example, but there's so many more out there. We want to see more of it. We want the media to really start focusing on the good. It's so easy to show negativity all the time, but there's so many positive stories and people and so much that we can really focus the attention on. And sometimes I do feel as though there's not enough of that. So what I take from that is, yes, this is love on one level, but there's love on many other levels, and we need to pour into that. Everyone knows someone that they can even love more, that they can promote love more, and we should do it on every level, business-wise, socially, within our homes, outside of our homes. And we just want to kind of push for that.